Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I'm Mike Good of Togetherness, and I'll be your host today. Welcome to this Togetherness Empowerment class, where I provide training to empower you to fight back against dementia. These classes are interactive, so let's get things started by having you type into the chat on the right-hand side of the screen. Let us know where you're from, or what your role is with dementia. Are you a family member, friend, or professional? And please don't be shy, because your interaction helps me know that everything's working and that you're there. Today, Vicki Kaufmann returns to teach today's class. Hi, Vicki.
Hello. Hi, Mike. Hello, everybody out there. I'm so glad you could join us this evening.
It's great to have you. And I hope everyone in the audience downloaded the free 14 tips to managing caregiver stress that Vicki and I created specifically for you. If not, after class, go check your 24-hour or your 2-hour email reminders that you received, and the link is in there. Adapting to the changing needs of a person with Alzheimer's or another dementia and dealing with the unfamiliar behavior and practical matters takes a physical and emotional toll on caregivers. And I don't have to tell you that, and if these pressures are not periodically relieved, you may experience exhaustion, illness, and depression. Today, Vicki will be teaching us strategies to help us through those difficult times, because caregivers need care too. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, I see some people are chatting over there now, letting us know. That's where you ask questions or share discussion with other people. So I want to say hi to Peggy, Marcia, Ann. Thank you we have Encinitas here. We were just talking about that wonderful city. Your sister is on the line there, Marcia.
Great.
Hi,
Marcia.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. All right, so now on to the introduction. Prior to her retirement in 2012, Vicki Kaufmann was a professional family counselor, certified life educator, certified professional fundraiser, founder and director of a Catholic Charities office in Michigan, and chief operating officer for Catholic Charities in South Florida. Sounds like she was quite busy. Now, Vicki's mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. And following the sudden death of her father in 2003, Vicki became the primary caregiver for her mom for 3 years until her mom's death in 2006. Vicki has established and operates her website, caregiverfamilies.com, which is packed with numerous resources, priceless suggestions, and tips for caregivers. If you haven't checked it out, I really highly recommend you do. Now, Vicki wrote and self-published an award-winning memoir about her experience caring for her mom. It's entitled An Elegy for Mom, a memoir of family caregiving, Alzheimer's, and devotion. And she's also recently designed a new book, My Blessings Journal, to encourage caregivers to write down their own experiences. Now, at the end of today's class, we're going to ask Vicki to share more about those resources, so make sure you stay to the end. Vicki now resides with her husband in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She volunteers for the Speakers Bureau of the Southwest chapter of the Alzheimer's Association and gives occasional presentations locally on aspects of caregiving of loved ones with Alzheimer's and dementia. I am truly happy to have her join us again. And thank you, Vicki, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for that introduction, Mike, and I'm thrilled that you asked me to be back. I enjoyed our presentation last January, got a lot of good feedback from it. But Mike, I've been reading some recent journals and researches that are troubling. For example, the American Medical Association says that the role of caregiver is a potential occupational hazard. Caregiving has us managing 2 lives and trying to balance both. But a more recent study from the Ohio State and National Institute on Aging has actually shown that there is physical evidence of effects of chronic stress of caregivers, both at the genetic and the molecular levels, and that indeed caregivers' lifespan may even be shortened by 4 to 8 years. That is scary information. We all know that stress is a normal part of life, and in small quantities, stress is good. It can motivate us, it helps us to become more productive. But as all of us probably are aware, too much stress or a strong response to it does determine its impact on our health. Now, I firmly believe, and from everyone that I talk to who is a caregiver, say that there are many rewards, but they also admit that it is very stressful. In fact, as you mentioned a little earlier, 50% become ill or depressed. And I think until scientists can find something to help us correct the effect of long-term caregiving, we need to help ourselves. And last January, I was very privileged to have Mike invite me, and I gave you some tips on stress management. And tonight, I hope to add on to that, what I call treasure trove of tips, and give you 28 more ideas. These are ones that I used myself when I cared for my mom, ones that I use today, and some that I even just newly discovered and thought they'd be very interesting to share with you. But first of all, I want to say that I think the biggest barrier that I find when I talk to caregivers is they think it's selfish to take care of themselves. And that I hope we can all establish after tonight that the first rule of taking care of others, no matter if it's a loved one with Alzheimer's or for caring for a sick child or a sick parent or whatever, that the rule is to take care of ourselves first. That much of our struggle, our worry, our anxiety are really about things that we can't control. And so my recommendation here is focus first, do what you can. Second, learn as much as you can about the disease. And third is to take care of yourself. You're going to hear me say this many times during the course of this evening. But I've divided my presentation tonight into 3 main areas. The first one is I'm going to give you 10 tips on maintaining a healthy body. Then I'm going to switch and give you 10 tips on how to keep your mind alert. And lastly, we're going to look at 8 tips on how to keep your soul alive. So if you're ready to begin, here we go. Number 1, maintaining a healthy body is to stretch and strength training. I think all of us who are caregivers know that the back takes a terrible, terrible toll. And the back is used in nearly every moment during the day. So we have to do something periodically from time to time to relieve that stress, relieve and ease that muscle fatigue. And we need to keep ourselves injury-free. Well, I'm only going to give you 3 ideas in terms of this. The first one is bicep curl. And this one is very easy. You probably know it already, but I have a 5-pound weights. I also have a 2-pound one, but you could take a can if you wanted, a can of fruit or vegetables, and just sit in your chair without arms. Take a can in one hand and press up, hold it for 8 to 10 seconds, put it back down. Do this a few times and reverse and do it with the other hand. So that's one thing for strength training. Another one is just to do 30 jumping jacks. You all know what jumping jacks are, to stand with your hands and feet coordinated apart, do 30 of those. But there's a new one that I just discovered, and that is to do a reverse snow angel. I'm from Michigan, and as a child, when we had piles of snow in the winter, we used to flop back on the snow, and what do? You put your arms out and your legs, and you kick, and you make the snow angel. Well, you don't have to wait for snow. You can do what's called a reverse snow angel, and that is to position yourself on the floor, face down, with your forehead on the ground, your arms at the side, and your palms up. And then you just peel your shoulders and your hands a few inches off the ground, and you raise them and you touch so that your thumbs are touching each other, and then you put them back down again. You do 3 sets of 5 of these, and you rest in between, like 30 seconds in between those. And if you can't get them all the way up for the thumbs to touch, then just get them up to near where your ears are. So I'm recommending try that tomorrow if you get a chance. Don't do it now during the course of this presentation, but remember, it's called a reverse snow angel. Okay, tip number 2 is to straighten up. I don't know about you, but I tend to slouch and slump. And when you do that, what does it do? But it restricts your breathing and it reduces the oxygen flow to the brain. So just remember, whenever you can, straighten up, pull yourself up together, stand tall, sit up tall, and you'll be so much the better for it. Number 3, this is one of my favorite tips for the body, is to soak it up, to luxuriate in a hot bubble bath. Now, we can't always do that, but if you want to get refreshed very quickly, just wash your hands and face in hot water and just imagine taking a hot bath and see how you feel after that. It'll probably perk you up a little bit. Let's hope that. Okay, tip number 4, to warm up. Now, this is a very easy one. You can do it together with me, but what you do is just take your hands, rub them together for about a good 30 seconds or so, and they start to feel nice and warm, and then cover your eyes and just breathe in deeply. Just for a few seconds. You feel the warmth against your face, and the darkness should be very comforting. That's something that only takes, what, a couple seconds to do. Okay, here's another one. This is a favorite of mine. Pet an animal. Tip number 5. I think we found out, and many articles that I've read on dementia talk about animal therapy. Now, Mike has a cat, which you might hear, or 2 cats, which may come in and interrupt us at some stage in this, but animal therapy, petting a cat or a dog, or if you don't have an animal at home, go out to a petting zoo, but something that is very comforting. Now, I want to also to show you something tonight, because those of you who are fans of Bob DeMarco, he is a blogger for the Alzheimer's Reading Room. Bob swears by this little animal, and it is actually a parrot. It is a talking parrot, and you can buy this on Amazon for about 20 bucks, but Bob swears that his mother, who had dementia, loved this, and he would put it on every morning when she had her coffee, and she would talk to it, sometimes for hours. So let me show you how this works. I just press a little button. Yes, say hello to the folks. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Okay, so that is just one.
I was just going to say, I remember reading that article by Bob, and I was very intrigued by that parrot. So I'm happy you brought it on the show, because I hadn't seen it. But it does seem like we hear about baby dolls and stuff in dementia care, and the parrot's something, and they have a seal now that some communities in San Diego are using, Peridot or something. Yes. But the parrot also seems like an economical thing that can work, and if it doesn't work for someone's loved one, maybe you can repurpose it to a kid or something, because not everything works for everyone, right? So Right, exactly. There are also, Hasbro has a toy called Joy for All, which are companion pets. You can get these in dogs or cats. But many years ago, when my mother was still alive, we bought her a cat that was a sleeping cat whose diaphragm would raise up and down when you turned on the button, and it purred as if it were sound asleep. But the fur was wonderful, and she used to stroke it and pet it. And I think it's just amazing. Now, I haven't seen this, but I hear that there's a robotic dog that barks and turns in the direction of the person who's talking. So you may want to look at these things, and for your own enjoyment as a caregiver, not just necessarily for your loved one. Okay, moving right along. So you're saying caregivers can have fun too?
Of course,
That's just,
definitely.
I think that's a good thing to remember. That's what I think we forget. We get so wrapped up in things. So,
Yes, yes, that's coming up in my presentation here too, Mike. But
oh,
number
oops.
6, that's okay. Tip number 6 is to take a brisk walk. And it forces you to breathe when you take a walk. It also look around in nature and see what there is to see. My mother was in an assisted living place that was very nearby an arboretum. And on Sundays, I used to put her in the car and take her wheelchair along, and we would go down to the arboretum, walk around. I would push her wheelchair, but sometimes we just sit in the sunshine and watch the squirrels play in the trees, listen to the birds, look at the clouds. It was wonderful, and it was very relaxing for me and just very enjoyable moments together. But also good exercise too, especially if you can do it briskly. Tip number 7, play an instrument, listen to music, whistle if you don't have an instrument. You can also go online. There are things like iHeartRadio, Pandora. You can get all of these set to the kinds of music that you love to listen to. What does music do? Mike did a whole session with a presenter not too long ago, and you can see it on his website. But music slows the heart rate. It increases the endorphins. Those endorphins are the feel-good hormones. And we definitely need to do that as caregivers. In fact, there's one website that I want to tell you about because I was so fascinated with it, and that is that the Dallas Symphony Orchestra has one out called DSOKids.com. And I think Mike is going to post some of these websites later after the presentation here. But this DSOKids.com has some wonderful games. I went on, they're interactive. There was one called Beethoven's Baseball. Another one was called Music Match. A lot of fun and also very stimulating. So take a look at that. Okay, moving on. Number 8, aroma therapy. In other words, take a whiff. This is a favorite of mine, and I want to share with you lavender. This is a little bottle. I don't know if you can see it how well, but it's a little bottle of essential oil of lavender. And I can even just smell it through the box. I don't even have to open it up. But there's a lot of things that you can do with the essence of oils. Just don't put them on your skin like that. What you want to do if you do want to apply it to your skin is add them to a little lotion or some moisturizer. But put a few drops of this in a warm bath. As we mentioned earlier, a warm bubble bath, or a few drops on your pillow if you're having trouble going to sleep at night. It has calming effects to, again, reduce the level of the stress hormones in your body. It's not just lavender, but there's other things like peppermint, rose, basil. These are all very soothing kinds of smells. And while I'm talking about smells, I just want to draw your attention that I'm doing a series on dementia and the senses. And believe it or not, smell is one of the first senses that indicates that could be a trouble with cognitive impairment, because it's one of the first senses to go. I guess that part of the brain that is affected by dementia or Alzheimer's impacts the way you smell. So take a look at that blog that I've posted for.
That is a great series. Let's make sure we provide a link on the replay page, and just so everyone knows, that's for the replay page. You get webinar, this class. There will be links to what Vicki talks about, so you don't have to worry about jotting them down now. But that is an excellent series you're writing, and I'm really learning a lot from it. You had eyesight and or vision, and
yes,
really good. So I look forward
Thank
to
you.
that.
Thank you very much. I'm doing a smell, and after around Christmas, I'll be doing taste and touch. So stay tuned. But getting back to our body tips, we've got tip number 9, and that is to take an afternoon break, munch some snacks, release the serotonin. Now, I don't know if you know this, but things like pretzels, crackers, or even a bagel are foods that are high in carbohydrates, but carbohydrates stimulate the release of serotonin. Serotonin, that's that good feel hormone. So You don't want to eat a whole box of crackers or a whole bag of pretzels, a few, but that will raise up your serotonin levels, raise up your sugar levels a little bit. Also enjoy a cup of tea in the afternoon. Tea has very calming properties, things like chamomile, passion flower. What I've been doing lately for my husband, who enjoys it, is I take a small, maybe an inch of fresh ginger. I skin it, and then I chop it into fine pieces, put it in a cup, and add hot water. Let it steep for about 10 minutes to get the full benefit, and he drinks it like that. And ginger is very good also for digestion. But chamomile is known for helping people get to sleep, for their stomach issues, but it also has a natural and a gentle sedative that has a very calming effect. So give it a try if you haven't already. And the last one for the body, tips for the body, is number 10, and that is a neck and shoulder roll. Now, when I talked in January, we actually did a massage. I'm not going to do that one tonight, but I want to tell you a very easy method, and that is to get yourself two tennis balls, and I put them in a sock, okay? And what you want to do is lie down prone on the floor with your legs up like this. I hope you can all see that. And then put this behind your neck on the floor and just roll it back and forth. And that gives you a massage. It's free, no charge. But boy, that can relieve a lot of the tensions in the neck and shoulders. Also, you can take the tennis ball and put it just while you're standing, put it under one of your bare feet, and just kind of roll the foot front and back and then sideways against that tennis ball for also massaging. You know, all of our nerves. Yeah, give it a try. All of our nerves end in our feet, so it's good and it's healthy for us to massage that.
I was just going to say, where would we be if we didn't have these extra uses for tennis balls? They go on the front of walkers. We use them for massages, and I just recently used a tennis ball, like you're saying, under my feet.
Yes,
I'd had a tight hamstring for probably 3 months. I could not figure out how to get rid of it. And using that tennis ball technique, it solved it in one day. And I couldn't make that up. I'm just, because I guess all those nerves and everything terminates down there, kind of like you're saying. So
exactly. Well, wonderful. Thank you for that endorsement, Mike. That's terrific. Great. Okay, so those are the 10 tips for the body. Let's move on to how do you keep your mind alert. I just also read something very recently that brain engagement, brain challenging activities are wonderful things that we need to do, and we need to engage our brain with gusto. But to do the things you enjoy. Some people don't like to do crossword puzzles. Okay, well, there's a lot of other things that can be done, and I'm going to tell you about a few of these options. But brain engagement, brain challenging activities. So let's go on to tip number 11. A brain changing activity is to goof off. Believe it or not, our need for play is a primal need. Things like blowing bubbles, horseshoes, playing croquet, darts. On a windy day, go fly a kite. Those of you who have leaves that are falling down now, rake a pile of leaves and jump in them like a kid. Throw bean bags. Get a beach ball and toss a beach ball with your loved one back and forth. But just have fun. Goof off. Do something silly. That actually stimulates your brain, believe it or not. Next one, number 12, tip number 12, accept the things that you can't change. Now, I know this is a tough one, but we try to control the uncontrollable, and there are many things, especially with the disease of Alzheimer's and the diseases of the different various types of dementia, that are beyond our control. We're not going to be able to change the course of the progression. So focus on the things that you can control, such as the way that you choose to react to problems. Tip number 13, to smile, to laugh. Smiling transmits the nerve impulses to our facial muscles, to the limbic system. And the limbic system is the key emotional center in our brain. I came across a website called Laughter Online University. They even have classes in what they call laughter yoga. Find something funny every day to laugh about. Maybe you can put on an old movie or a favorite TV show, or just get a joke book out, but something that will make you laugh. Number 14, shadow box. Believe it or not, sometimes we think we're victims, but we as caregivers are fighters. So just go to an empty room and just get a light and turn a light on and just do some shadow boxing. Release that tension that's pent up and built up in your body. Put on some Rocky music from the Rocky movies and just go to it and just let your arms flail all different directions and just have fun on it. But focus on the proactive.
I'm sorry, I have to chuckle. It just reminds me of volunteering at the Adult Day Center, and so many people that we all had fun. We were having fun all the time. We used balloons and batted them around, and we did things like that.
Oh.
And it was great to see that side of people come out and be able to play and have fun with normally wouldn't do. I think it helped everybody. So I didn't try shadow boxing though.
Well, that's a great one. We all, as children, did shadow puppets. I don't know about you, but with your hands, remember, you used to make little animals against the wall at night when the lights were on. Well, shadow boxing, do something very similar. Give it a try. I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. Okay, moving on to tip number 15. This is a new one I found out, but I found this is very interesting, and that is to stare for a few minutes at a fractal picture or item. Now, what is a fractal picture? A fractal picture is one that has symmetry, and I'm going to show you, like, for example, a fern. Look at the beautiful picture of the fern. The symmetry of the fern and the way the leaves are growing. A snowflake has symmetry. I happen to have this hanging in my office. It's a chambered nautilus that has beautiful, it's cut out in half, but you get to see the chambers in it. I could sit and meditate on that and just look and reflect on that. And there's beauty and symmetry, and it gets you to forget your troubles when you're looking at something that's beautiful. Number 16, brain aerobics or brain teasers. Again, my recommendation is do what is fun for you, but the more, the better. Now, I'm not crazy about Sudoku because I have trouble getting those numbers to match all the time. I try it and I continue to try it. I love crosswords, but there are other things to do too, like learning a new language or reading a technical book. There is a wonderful website. You don't have to be a senior citizen or retired to get into it. It's called games.aarp.org. And it has a whole series of a variety of different kinds of games to challenge your brain. So take a look. Do some brain teasers every day. Number 17 is sing a screaming song. You know, it takes a saint not to feel angry or frustrated at times. And I think last January, I talked to you about going into my wine cellar, my WHINE cellar, and just letting it out, all your frustrations out. Well, this one is screaming a song. You can scream in the shower or scream into a pillow, but find a song that has one that will really let all your internal anxiety and frustration out. And I'll tell you my secret. Mine is the Beatles' Twist and Shout. So that's one that I like to sing at the top of my lungs. I'm not going to sing it for you tonight, though. Sorry about that.
What? My last presenter sang during their presentation. Right.
Well, not tonight. Okay, I'm off the hook on that one, I hope. Number 18. Yep. Here's one, a good one, to take a piece of paper out and rank your worries and anxiety. Writing does give us a perspective at times. And so here's my advice. Get that paper out, write down all that you can think of. What are you worried about? What's your anxieties about? And then using a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is a minor hassle and 10 is a true catastrophe, go ahead and rank what you've written down. And I think what you'll find, you might be surprised that most of the problems that you worry about will rate somewhere in the 2 to 5 range. Now, if all of them rank true catastrophe, then you really do need to get some support and build up those support systems for yourself. But I think once you look at things black on white, sometimes that does help you to put things into perspective. Number 19 is to delve into art. I came across a wonderful little phrase called color yourself calm, C-A-L-M. And calming is coloring is a calming activity. Now, all of us have seen those books in different bookstores, even in drugstores now. They sell the books for different coloring kinds of things. You can go to art museums, you can go to art galleries. Well, there are 2 websites that I'm going to recommend where you can go and download your own sheets and use them to color. You don't have to go out and buy the expensive books. Here's a sample of one, and here's another one. Look how pretty they come out. And then you just take your colored pencils or your crayons, get a little pack of kids' crayons, and spend a few minutes coloring. The two.
I was just
Yes, Mike,
I was
go
just going
ahead.
to say what I liked about that. I took a look at one of the sites, and again, we'll provide a link on the replay page. But because I
Yes.
recommend to caregivers to get adult coloring books for their loved ones to help them
Yes.
engage in the arts. But most of those a lot of those are like really complicated. And
Yeah.
website you provided, you have such a choice. You have a big choice of things that you can select. So you can select different levels of complexity, I think, and then just print those off for free, basically.
Yes,
And
exactly.
kind of tailor them more to your loved one's level or even your level. Like, I don't know if I would
Yes.
want, I don't necessarily have the patience to do the really intricate ones.
Yes.
So I just thought that was really nice because good. And it's an activity that can be done together as well.
Definitely. Yes. And the 2 websites that Mike has just referred to, coloringcastle.com and printmandala.com. So take a look at those when you get a few minutes. And the last one, number 20 for the mind, is to use guided meditation or mindfulness exercises. That's kind of like going to a gym for your brain. And meditation, again, releases oxytocin, that is another one of those wonderful hormones. You can actually do a mindfulness exercise while you're waiting at a doctor's office with your loved one, or you're stranded in traffic in the car, you're stuck in the car, or you're standing in line somewhere. It doesn't take but a few minutes. You don't have to do it for an hour or a half hour, whatever. But if you have about 10 to 15 minutes during the day, I would take a timer and set it for yourself and just get some time out for some quiet bliss. There is an app that you can get for your phone called calm.com, and that has about 10 different settings with sounds with voice-directed meditations. And that's a very easy one, because then you can just close your eyes and just listen to someone else directing you through a wonderful, restful meditation. Okay, the last topic now, how do you keep your soul alive? Well, my tip number 21 is to tend a garden. This was one of my soul savers, believe it or not. It was a lifesaver for me when I was caring for my mom. I would forget my problems when I'd go out and pull those weeds or tend the flowers or prune. And in fact, I started to grow orchids and eventually joined a local orchid club so I could learn more about how to grow the orchids. But there's nothing like getting your hands dirty. You get the energy of the workout, but you also forget your problems and your worries for a short time. And if you can't tend, if you live in an apartment or a small area where you don't have a yard, buy some plants and tend those plants and look at the plants and nurture those plants. That keeps your soul alive.
You can do some herbs. The herbs would have that aromatherapy aspect to it.
Yes.
You know, and it gets on your hands and smells good. And herbs don't take up a lot of space necessarily. So unless you let a rosemary bush get crazy like I have, but basil and the thyme and those would be good. You know, some good plants.
Wonderful.
Well, so.
That's an excellent addition to that. Okay, number 22. Tip number 22 is to call a friend. What I'm saying is avoid the negaholics, but surround yourself with people who refuse to let you settle for less than who you are. Reach out and tell them what is happening to you. You know, what I find is that many caregivers become very isolated. People they don't stop by to visit anymore because they don't know what to say. Well, you might have to reach out to them a little and just say, look, I don't want you to say anything. Just listen to me for a few minutes. I need your support. I need your listening ear. The better thing is to try to develop a support network, attend support group meetings, and there you may make some friends and find some friends who really understand basically what you're going through. But if you can't go out to those, there are Facebook groups, so you can stay in the house. You don't have to even go out to a support group. But find yourself some friends who you can have as a circle around you to support you in your journey. The Alzheimer's.org has a telephone number, 1-800-272-3900, that has a social worker that always answers and picks up. And if you're desperate and you just need somebody to talk to, that's also a good number to call because someone will be there to answer your concern. Number 23. Compose an affirmation to use as a mantra. And what you want this to be is a very positive but a short statement that you can say to yourself throughout the day. For example, if you're having one heck of a day, everything has just gone wrong, think about what could be your mantra. Could it be something like, I feel calm, I can handle this. You might have to repeat it 10 times. I feel calm, I can handle this. Take a deep breath. I feel calm, I can handle this. Or if you get up in the morning, say something like, today will be a great day, and if not, then I will try again tomorrow. You might even want to write some of these out, put them on your refrigerator, post them on your mirrors, say them throughout the day. I will be patient and kind and compassionate, and if things don't go well, I will be forgiving. Find something that's going to fit you, fit your personality. But the author Raoul Dole has said, if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Isn't that a beautiful quote? So if you can always try to have that composure, at least try to think about what you can do to feel calm, to feel comfortable. Did you want to say something?
I think it's important to have, you know, that short thing written down too, because
yes,
we do forget. We get wrapped up in the moment of whatever it is in life. But if we have that piece of paper either stuck on the wall where we can be reminded, or on our nightstand or something, I find that to be very helpful.
Yes. Okay, moving along. Tip number 24. Write a monthly compassion letter to yourself. Most of us as caregivers have become highly adept at self-criticism. Oh, I didn't do this right. Oh, I'm a failure at this. And we have to remember, compassion is not self-pity, but take a piece of paper and write as if you were writing to your best friend. Talk about that. And then gosh, put it in the mail and receive it and take it and read it out loud to yourself. Send yourself a free e-card. There is a beautiful website called gratefulness.org that has wonderful pictures that you can compose. And why not schedule to send yourself a free e-card once a week, that you get it in your email and it pops out and it says something beautiful and something lovely for you. You have to nurture yourself. So that's a good one. Next, 25, tip number 25, diagnose your motivation. Why are you doing this? Why are you a caregiver? And what matters most to you now? I think periodically through our journey with our loved ones, we have to stop and think about that. We can make new choices that help us move towards a better future. But sometimes we really have to be realistic about the care that we can provide without harming our own health. And maybe as the disease progresses in your loved one and it gets further on in the later stages, you may need to really surround yourself with a lot more support than you had in the beginning. You may need more either friends or neighbors or family members to come and help, perhaps professional people coming into the house to help you, or you may even have to look into assisted living or nursing care for your loved one, possibly even hospice care. But at each stage, I think we just need to take a look and sit back from time to time, diagnose our motivation. Okay, moving on, number 26, declutter, simplify, and forget the small stuff. Now, what I say is if you don't need it or it doesn't serve a purpose, get rid of it. Because the more stuff you have, the more clutter you have in your life, the more you're going to worry about it. Donate it. I've gone through my closets and I still can do that even to this day, getting rid of stuff that I'll never use in 10 years. I donate it to Goodwill or Salvation Army or one of your favorite charities. Also, ease up on your schedule. So, okay, I know my mother used to be someone that every Monday she did laundry, every Friday she cleaned the house. Well, I'm not quite like that. I've kind of learned to let go of some of that. So if Friday comes along and I can't clean my kitchen for some reason or other, well, postpone it for a couple of days. I mean, you're not going to have a dirty house. So skip it to another day when you can do it, or clean one room each day so that it doesn't all pile up on you. Also remember that guilt has no place in your journey as a caregiver, that the decisions that you make from a heart full of love are good decisions. And sometimes we do things and we decide, oh, why did I do that? I'm terrible. But I think that's one also way that we can declutter our life and forget the small stuff. Number 27, coming right along.
You know, Vicki, so sorry.
Yes.
How many
problem.
tips are there?
2 more.
How many tips are there? 2 more.
28.
Good, so I have some time. I have some time to interrupt you.
Sure.
Well, I just want to talk about that guilt aspect a little bit because, you know,
Yes.
I know from having talked to and worked with multitude of family caregivers is so often they let one little misstep, if you will, or perceived misstep offset the 20 or 30 things they've done that were great. And
Yes.
and that's that, you know, reminding ourselves and, you know, maybe using the journal or sending yourself the e-card to remind yourself that what it's all about, and not to let that one little there's no way a caregiver or someone with dementia can be perfect. It's just impossible. And
Yes.
so I just, you know, that carrying around that guilt is just no good, and it's easier said than done to dismiss it. But you know, like kind of like you talked about earlier, writing things down sometimes just helps to flush it out of our psyche or whatever. And I just wanted to say that. So we'll let you get back to the last one.
That's okay. I just want to also tag on a little bit, though, that I did write a blog on guilt. And that was one of the ones that probably got the most hits in terms of people coming to the website to read it. So take a look at that if you can find it. Just put it in once you get to the website in the blog section there, and it'll come right up. Okay, tip number 27 is to say a little prayer. I know many times I felt helpless, and my recourse was to just put myself in the Lord's hands and say, please take it. It's right now I need your help. I don't know how many of you know, but the word human comes from a Latin word called humus, Humus, which means earth. And to me, that says, look, none of us are perfect. We're frail, but we do have strength. And Mother Teresa, there's a phrase that's attributed to her. She says, I know God will not give me anything I can't handle. I just wish he didn't trust me so much. And then there is the other serenity prayer. I don't know how many of you have ever seen that one, but this is the other serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to stop beating myself for not doing things perfectly, the courage to forgive myself because I'm trying to do better, and the wisdom to know that you already love me just the way I am. On my website, I have a section that says resources, and under the resources, there is a page that says inspirations. I have posted there some prayers and some psalms, and if you are in a moment when you're feeling down and out and you just need to place yourself in the Lord's hands, take a look at that and maybe pull out one of those and say a little prayer. And then lastly, my tip number 28, it kind of goes along with this, but it's to count our blessings. And we're coming up on the season of Thanksgiving, but we need to count our blessings, I think, every day, because there are blessings. And oftentimes our caregiving journey, even as stressful as it can be, it may actually be a blessing in disguise. And I found out that the role has many, many challenges, but for me, I think it made me a better, compassionate person. And that's what I tried to share in the memoir that I wrote. But in the midst of our loss and heartache, there are going to be times that, and things that Alzheimer's can't take away from us. They can't take away the warmth of a touch. They can't take away that laughter that you share with your loved one. They can't take away the knowledge of what it means to live in the present moment or the experience of unconditional love and acceptance. Sometimes the only thing you can do for your loved one is to quietly walk alongside and to stand witness to their journey. And I hope that today, just some of these ideas that I've shared with you will help you to keep yourself strong. And of course, I wish all of you just peace, patience, and joy in your caregiving journey. That's it, my 28 tips.
That was great. And I too hope that that people have heard the ones that work for them today and want to use them. And Peggy says that she was taught to start her mantra with I release. And she uses I release all notions of wrongdoing and right doing, for with gratitude I am here for myself. So I have to look up what a tapping therapist is, but it says Google says that it's a emotional acupuncture, acupressure. So I have to look into a little more about what that means.
Okay.
So that's wonderful, Peggy. And for those of you that are in Canada, I know you already celebrated Thanksgiving, but you have the rest of the year and into next year, we can always be giving our thanks, right? So
Yes.
Looks like Mary's wondering what number 18 is. Can you have a number that you can repeat what 18 is for us, Vicki?
I do. Just give me a moment here. And
you must have been feverishly taking some notes there.
Evidently. Okay. All right. Okay, Mary, it is to rank your worries and anxiety. Rank your work. That's to take out the list and using the scale of 1 to 10 after you write out, then to see which one is minor and which one goes up to the number 10, which is the true catastrophe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a really good one to work on, and then see if you can find solutions to reduce them from 10s get them back down to
Yes.
something normal, right? We'll try to,
Yes, exactly.
I mean, there's all kinds of, without knowing what it is, but try to find someone to help you or try to alleviate that situation so that it's not so emotionally bearing on you and all. So, Vicki, that was wonderful. Would you like to tell us a little more about, you have the award-winning book. Last time you were
Yes.
here, the book, you were here in January. The book had only been out for a couple months. And but
Yes.
since then, you've actually won an award. Or you want to share with us?
I would love to. Thank you, Mike. I'll just take a moment to do a pitch, but my book is called Elegy for Mom, and it came out in November, a year ago November, just before the January webinar with Mike. And in August, it won a gold medal and a silver medal in 2 different categories from the Florida Authors and Publishers Association. And I just feel very humbled that they determined that it's quite a prestigious award, the President's Award. And so I have copies available on my website. The other book that Mike mentioned earlier, and this is one that is very inexpensive, and this one might make a good Christmas gift for a caregiver or a friend. It's called My Blessings Journal. And this is one that my sister and I worked on together. The subtitle is Capturing Life's Everyday Graces. And what we have here is basically where you write in your own blessings. There are 12 different chapters with titles like, for example, blessing of patience, or blessings of gratitude, blessings of forgiveness. So instead of the months of the year, I have 12 different blessings. And we ask you to take time out each night, maybe a few minutes during the day, to just jot a little note in, and then to go back and read them over. There are also some beautiful photographs with little sayings in that my sister worked up for me, and just to give you an idea. But this is a fairly inexpensive book, and both of them are for sale on my website, caregiverfamilies.com. So I know Mike's going to post the link to that.
Yeah, our audience should already see a pop-up on the right-hand side of your screen where if you click, you might have to scroll down. I had to. You can click the yellow button that says check it out, and it'll open a new window where you won't lose us, but that window will be there. Plus, I'll post it on the replay page.
Thank you, Mike.
For the next 5 minutes here, if you click that button. And that's wonderful. So congratulations, Vicki.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's wonderful to hear that how that's going for you, and I'm excited about that journal and all. So that's really neat. Any other? Oh, and if you're in the audience and you just click the little red circle at the top of it, then that'll give you your chat back, because I know it blocks the chat. So Peggy, yeah, you're welcome. Cheryl, thank you for attending and supporting us. And Peggy, you're right. Sometimes people that are just really negative and are hard to get to, and we have to find the right time. But those support groups online can have a lot of negativity, and it's good to get it out. And sometimes that's just what people are doing, and we kind of got to acknowledge that too. But online is definitely a hard place to work. So, all right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And I'm going to also pop up a link to sign up for the future events and notifications. Now, I won't be having another 1-hour webinar this year because it'll fall on our U.S. Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I already have webinars scheduled for the first quarter of 2017. So that's exciting. And we will have some dementia conversations. Macaulay and myself talk for about 30 minutes. So if you haven't signed up, make sure you click the sign up now button, go over there, and get on my email list so you don't miss out future events. So Vicki, anything else you want to share with our audience before we wrap up for today?
No, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedules, your busy schedules. I know there's a lot going on this time of year, and I wish you beautiful holidays. But please make the rule to take care of yourself. And I wish you all the best.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. And same here to everyone. And I'm gonna have to get over in Encinitas and meet your family, I guess. No. I always need an excuse to go over to the beach. That's one of my ways of relieving some stress. So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and see you soon. Bye-bye.